welcome to Anna's Violets. Today's topic is again orchids, and if you are for the first time on my channel, please subscribe because I will be posting every week new videos about plants and gardening. And today's topic is orchids, Phalaenopsis orchids, and as you can see here, it's all like orchids who urgently needed help. They were getting rotten, and I'm going to show you today a couple of methods how you can actually save your orchids. Of course, given that you feel it, you see it a bit earlier, then everything is too late. Let's start with this one orchid here. Maybe you have seen my previous video that I tried to save this orchid by repotting it. I just first cut all the rotten roots and I repotted this, but as you can see, it's now without any roots. It's just because I had some doubts. Shall I repot it immediately or shall I wait for a couple of days? Shall I do something else? I took it out and I saw that the stem, the basis of the orchid was completely rotten. So I just pulled it and all the roots just came off. So this part is completely dry and there's no any threat or danger that some bacteria can go inside and this orchid can continue to get rotten and eventually die. But so what I'm trying to do with this orchid, it's sitting in this transparent pot, leaves upside down in the water. This is the way to save your orchids and to make it grow new roots and at the same time do not get really dehydrated. As you can see, the leaves are quite firm. They are quite still strong, I would say. I do see a little bit of wrinkles, but without water they would have just been completely dry already. So, and after a while, I will see that some roots are coming out from here. And of course, you need to put such a plant into in a bright place and absolutely without any sun. Now, with this orchid, what I have done here, I have two pots here. First of all, one transparent one and one again absolutely the same as this without any holes. And I have a little bit of water here at the bottom. Now what I do, I have put, because this orchid, why I've decided this method with this particular orchid, is because this orchid has still a couple of good roots and I don't want to repot it because there is still a danger that the rot may, the plant may still continue to get rotten, but I do realize that of course orchid needs moisture from somewhere, right? So, and I can't put all the leaves into water just with this one, like with this one. But what I have done, so I've put the orchid into this transparent pot, which has of course some drainage holes, and I've put this plant together with this pot into another pot. Now, here you can see the water is until here and the roots do not touch the water. They just feel the moisture and the orchid will feel the moisture, will try to get to the water to get and to grow the roots. This will again take a couple of weeks. But what I do here sometimes, so every day for a couple of hours, I pour a little bit more water here just so that the tips of the roots slightly touch the water. I don't fill up the water until here. I just do a little bit more. I just pour here just until the bottom of this transparent pot. And so in this way, the roots can touch the water, can take a little bit of more water. But then after 3 or 4 hours, I remove the water and leave again just at the bottom. So this way the orchid will still feel that there is water. It needs to grow roots to get the water. But on the other hand, I don't let the roots sit in the water because 100% they will just, get rotten, especially with the orchids that already had a problem. And this orchid is actually quite okay for now. The leaves are all absolutely fine. Here I see that an aerial root is growing. And now here is a very interesting orchid. So this orchid is here for a couple of months already, for about 2 months, and I just want to show you what I have done with this particular one. So of course I saw that through the transparent pot I saw that the roots are getting rotten. Of course I took it out. All the roots were gone, just 2 aerial roots are here and I'm going to show you, but first I want to show you the construction. So this is a small greenhouse, right? You can grow any seeds or seedlings here. but I use this just to have the transparent part at the top so that there's still the light is going through the greenhouse to the orchids. I have here two windows that I can close or open for air ventilation and just to, to improve the air and the environment inside of the greenhouse. But just covering it helps me to keep the moisture inside of the greenhouse. So I can just remove it, absolutely remove it, or I can just open the windows here through the holes. There will still be air conditioning. All right, so I'm going to show you. Well, at the bottom I have water. So here it's water, and this is another separate pot that has holes in it. So through these holes the water is coming up to the pot where I have sphagnum moss. And sphagnum moss is an excellent medium, so to say, to preserve the moisture, and it also has such a feature that it's actually antibacterial, so it will not let the bacteria or fungus to spread easily. So it's really a comfortable method to do it. So again, I have put this orchid upside down, so with the leaves on the surface of the moss. So remember, the water is coming through the pot to the moss, and this moss is absolutely wet now here. And I put this upside down with the leaves because the leaves get the moisture and they are not wrinkled at all. Even just these two leaves are slightly touching the moss, not all the leaves. And the thing is that if I had something more comfortable for this, I would actually like to lay down just like this the whole orchid, but not the aerial roots, because if aerial roots are touching the moisture all the time, if you try even to plant your orchid and to bury the aerial roots into the medium, they will definitely get rotten. So aerial roots need to stay outside in the air, and the real roots need to go, well, not the real, because both roots are real, but the roots that grow in the medium should be in the medium, and the roots that are growing in the air, aerial roots, should be still in the air. And that's why I have put it just like this, so that the aerial roots do not touch the wet sphagnum moss. So this way, what I have achieved, after 2 months, the leaves are not wrinkled at all, everything is perfect, and I have just noticed that here I have a new leaf growing. This is just wonderful. This is a sign that everything is going well. And what I have seen here, the roots are growing. So it grows one root, and one also starts to grow from this side, and one from this side. So everything is going quite well with this orchid, and I will be keeping this in this kind of greenhouse, such kind of a reanimation, until it will have a couple of roots, not only one, but a couple of healthy and long roots, like maybe 5 centimeters, even longer, until I will be able to plant it again. But here's one thing, if you try to save your orchid in this method, just upside down, sometimes the orchid's roots are growing, the new roots will grow in the opposite direction, because they will tend to go to the water to take the moisture. And this way it will be hard for you when you turn it to plant it, because then the roots will be growing upwards. So I need to be very careful here, and when I see that the roots are growing in the wrong direction, then maybe it will be already the time for me to plant it. But for now, everything is fine, and I will just continue observing it. It's only in the bright place without any sun, so sun is not touching in any way. It's actually far away from the window in a warm place. I used to actually open the cover once per day, but now it's always closed, and I just open the window, so it seems to be enough. So you need to just observe and see if your plant likes the conditions that you offer. If no, then you need to feel what to change, how to experiment, and then you will get to your own results. So remember that there is no one right way to do anything about plants. It's all nature. And it depends on your climate, on your conditions of your environment that you're growing your plants, on your own experience. So with this plant, I'm going to continue with filling up the water and pouring it out. for a couple of weeks to see how it goes. With this plant again, with this orchid, it will be in the water, and see that I have not, the water is until only half of the leaves, so not until the very top and not just the tips only. So, but this is also, this is, up to you to decide depending on your plant. And with this one, I'm going to continue to keep this orchid just like this until it will give a couple of roots. Hopefully they will grow in the right direction for me, to be able to plant it easily. If not, we will see. I will be showing you updates. And you can also follow me on Facebook, where I post almost every day photos and updates about my plants, about my experience. And you can post actually your own plants, photos of your plants in my group, and let's have a chat. So I'm going to close this, and I'm going to keep the windows open for just better air conditioning, air ventilation. And I will be waiting with these all three orchids to see about their progress, how they like this, what will work with every particular orchid separately. And these are just the methods that I just wanted to show you what to do and how can you and what can you do about your plants that decided to get rotten. So please subscribe, leave a comment under the video so that we can chat a little bit, and of course click on the bell button to be notified about every time that I post something new about plants or gardening. Stay patient about plants. See you next time, my friends!